What is going on, everybody? It is Wednesday, February the 10th, and that means it is time for my news radar. So before we get started, I do want to quickly mention that if you're an AT&T Surface Duo user, the January update that you've all been missing out on should be rolling out to you like now. So hit that check for update button and let me know if you finally got the update in the comments down below. So we have talked in the past a couple of times about what Apple might be doing or might not be doing in the world of foldable smartphones. If they would be attacking Samsung head on at their flagship of the Z Fold or Z Fold 2, i.e. a phone that has a screen on the outside and then folds open and has a big screen on the inside, essentially an iPhone that turns into an iPad. Or if Apple would be targeting more like the Z Flip, the clamshell style, so just an iPhone that gets smaller. And it appears as though the latest reports are indicating that we should be expecting the more clamshell Z Flippy style of iPhone coming versus the Z Fold style. If we look at this article here from MS Power User, sources say Apple's upcoming foldable phone will be more like Z Flip and less like Z Fold. So we've had some leaks about this for a good while, but it appears as though, and you can kind of read here, that the clamshell version is being elevated in terms of importance. And both designs have apparently been worked on, and in fact, both designs have apparently gone through testing and have been certified in some way to be viable. But for whatever reason, Apple has apparently decided to go with the Z Flip or Moto Razr style clamshell design. Perhaps that's because they don't want to take away from the iPad. Who knows? Maybe when they do the foldy thing this way, maybe they'll call that an iPad. I don't know. The fact that they make both maybe has something to do with it. Another bit of information that we have here is that it looks like they're going to be actually targeting a younger demographic here for this folding iPhone. Obviously, this is a mock-up, but I mean, who knows? It may look something like that. A big screen on the outside would be pretty cool. But the reason that we're thinking this is because rumors are that there are going to be fun colors, as they're saying here, for this folding iPhone. Now, that's interesting because typically when they do their fun colors that are targeting a younger demo, those are the cheaper iPhones. So perhaps this is an effort to offset the price a little bit. Like maybe we're not going to put everything we've got into the Z Flippy style iPhone and offset the price of making a folding phone. So we're going to say, hey, it's for the younger demographic. It's a folding phone, but it's not got the bleeding edge specs like the Pro Max will. Who knows? Maybe what they're thinking there. Now, it is also really important to keep in mind that we're not expecting these things to be out this year or really even next year. Apparently, this project is still pretty early on in terms of the work being done. So don't be expecting a foldy, flippy iPhone anytime in the super near future. It tends to be Apple's MO to wait until a tech has become widely available and a little bit more refined before jumping in themselves. There's also the idea, the fact that, look, when Samsung makes the Z Fold, they're not going to sell millions of Z Folds, and they know that. So it's not that big of a deal to manufacture, to source those folding screens because they don't have to have that many of them. When Apple does this, when Apple makes the iPhone 14 Flippy edition, they're probably going to sell millions of them because it's Apple. So they have to have a pipeline in place to get a hold of millions of folding screens. So they tend to wait until the tech is more readily available for that reason as well. So let's switch gears and talk about something in the gaming world. So there's a guy, Andrew Spinks, who is one of the head guys. I believe he actually was the founder of Relogic, who is the studio behind uber popular game that all these kids out there play a lot of, called Terraria. And he's had some little problems with Google. Apparently.
Yeah.
Stop. If we jump over to this Android police article, we've got kind of the rundown here, and it says Andrew Spinks is the primary developer behind the hit indie game Terraria. He's the founder of Relogic, as I said. Apparently, he has been locked out of his Google account. Rather than just read this article, let's just go to the Twitter thread here, because this popped up into my life last night, and I thought it was quite hilarious. He tweets at Google, "My account has not been disabled for 3 weeks. Still have no idea why, and after using every resource I have to get this resolved, you have done nothing but give me the runaround." Now, in this article here, I will jump back to it for a brief moment. Basically, he received a terms of service warning. It was ignored because he assumed it was a mistake, and then his account got banned and shut down. "My phone has lost access to thousands of dollars of apps on Google Play. I had just bought Lord of the Rings in 4K, can't finish it. My drive data is completely gone, can't access my YouTube channel," and he's lost access to his Gmail account that he's used for 15 years. "I've not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burned. Terraria for Google Stadia is canceled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward. I will not be involved with a corporation that values their customers and partners so little. Doing business with you is a liability." Wow, this was a pretty blazing attack here from Mr. Spinks. And look, he's got all the reason in the world to feel that way if he has indeed done nothing wrong. And it's super disappointing that Google has done nothing to support this guy to help get this thing fixed. Now, as a lot of you guys probably know, Terraria is already on Android, and if you've already got it on there, it's going to continue to be supported on Android. So he's not pulling the rug out from underneath any people that have already bought the game that will be slightly hypocritical of him. But if you're one of the 3 or 4 people that are using Google Stadia, it will not be coming to Stadia. And I think that this speaks to a problem that we've all kind of had on our minds here lately, that there's a handful of really big tech companies that have a lot of power. Now, I don't think that any of the things they've done here are necessarily even illegal. It doesn't seem like, I mean, look, if they can find a way that he violated terms of service, they're allowed to do this. It's the same thing that went on with Twitter, and people got mad because Twitter pulled people off Twitter, banned people from Twitter that said things that they said violated their terms of service. When you sign up for an account with Google, with Facebook, with Twitter, you sign a contract and you agree that they can ban you for whatever they want to ban you for. And if they decide to ban you, guess what? They can. And that's I think people are missing the problem there. The problem isn't that Google can ban Andrew Spinks and do all this stuff. The problem is that Google is so powerful that all the things he just lost access to are all tied into Google. The problem is that there's like 4 or 5 companies that are crazy powerful. They have the right to do this to you a lot of the time, and maybe that's the problem. So sticking with this sort of Twitter social media type thing, we have an article here from PC Mag where they talk about Twitter considering doing paid subscriptions once again. And this is something that they actually talked about back in 2017. Reports suggested a more advanced or paid version of TweetDeck aimed at marketers, journalists, and professionals. In return for monthly fee, users would get access to elite alerts, trends, advanced analytics, and posting tools. Now, so this is something they played with for a long time, but it's never come to fruition. Personally, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. As someone who does pay for YouTube Premium, which is something that, look, you pay $12 a month and you get no ads in your YouTube videos. You get the ability to play videos on your phone even when the phone is turned off, and you get the ability to download content to watch it later. And some people, probably think that's too much money to pay for that. But for me, that turns any video I want to watch into a podcast, because I can just close my Duo, pop in an earbud, and listen to it. And it also keeps me from having to watch ads, which are the bane of my existence. I hate advertisements. So if you could go to Twitter and have no ads, and maybe if you're someone like me that uses Twitter for a business type thing, have some better analytics, well, if it's $5, $6 a month, maybe that's something that's worth it. And I think that we can put another spin on it here. So there's a really important thing you got to keep in mind in your life on the internet. If you're using a service and that service is free, that means that you are the product. Facebook, let's stick with Twitter because that's what we're talking about. Twitter is free. Anyone can use it. So how does Twitter make money? Same way that everybody makes money. People pay access. people pay money to Twitter to have access to you, to show you advertisements. So Twitter will track what you do, and it will show you ads based on what you have been doing, the things that you've looked for potentially on Twitter and so forth. Facebook does this a ton. We all know this experience of we Googled something, and then we go to Facebook or Instagram, and there's an ad for that exact thing right in your face. Would things be better if you could opt out of that? Say, no, I don't want you tracking my data and showing me targeted ads. I will give you $5 a month to use your service, and you're not going to show me any more ads. Now, look, that's not explicitly what we're talking about here with Twitter. What they're talking, maybe that's something that's going to be part of it, no ads, but that's not explicitly what's being said. But I kind of want to turn it in that direction. Is that something that you guys would be interested in? If it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever, maybe it's the Facebook suite because they own Instagram as well. Would you be willing to pay these social media companies a fee every month to say, don't track my data, don't show me ads, I just want to use your platform to do the things that I want to do on it. I don't want to be the product. At that point, it's not free for me. I'm actually paying you to use this, so I'm no longer the product. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram becomes the product again. Hypothetically, is this something you would be interested in doing? I think it's something I might consider doing if they could show me that they really weren't going to be tracking my data, showing me ads any longer. So guys, that's all the news I have for you this time. Be sure to check back every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next News Radar. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.